This is the Warminster Town Football Club Supporter Podcast. This is the podcast by supporters for supporters. We bring you match reports, interviews and much more. We travel both home and away to bring you the excitement of non-league football to wherever you are. Well, it's always good to get a fan's view on how the match went. So today we've got Dave Parry, who's going to explain what he thought about the football match at Warminster Town versus Almondsbury. Dave, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Rowan. Nice to be with you. Yeah, a really good game. I think very important, first of all, that we got 3 points after a couple of the upsetting last-minute goal against Portishead and the performance against Bishop Sutton. But I don't think there's been much wrong with the team, but it was very important to get the 3 points and even more important to keep a clean sheet. I must say, before we even talk about the game, the one person who I was very impressed with today was yesterday was the referee. I thought he controlled the game well, calmly, got involved only when he had to, and it was a pleasure to watch him because I think it made the game flow as well. Played in pretty good spirits, in all fairness. And I'll give Almondsbury credit. They could have fallen away, but didn't. They still kept pressing. But, first half, the youth got out the starting blocks reasonably well, I thought. All right, Martin will probably tell us that was goal of the season, his first bundling over the line. But he was there at the right place, right time, and you can't fault a forward for doing that. So that's a good start. And then George Butler getting goal 10 minutes or so after that. I always felt Almondsbury were not too comfortable at the set pieces, and I think we made the most of that, to be truthful. But again, it's a very difficult game when you're 2-0 up. It's difficult to keep. You've got to keep your concentration because you can so quickly let the other side back in. And we were a little bit fortunate just before half time, the one that pinged off the crossbar on the corner, really hard, a really fine effort. But we survived and kept our heads. And then a far better goal for Martin in the second half. A really cracking good strike. I see someone say the wrong foot on Twitter, whether that's true or not, whether it's someone winding him up, I don't know. But it was a cracking finish. And I think it was the 3 points were there after that. So I say Almondsbury didn't give in. And some really good moments later. Could have had a few more goals. A cracking effort from Martin that was brilliantly saved by the goalkeeper onto the crossbar. And what was nice is the little chat they had afterwards, after the shot had gone. They were exchanging smiles and laughs about it, which showed how the game was played, I think, in reasonably good spirit. There was only one tiny incident. The referee got on told of it straight away. But really good game of football. What impresses me about this Warminster side, though, because I'm used to watching League One football, which we'll may talk about later on. I'm seeing this level of football, and I think for a side at this level, Warminster plays an excellent football. They don't just resort to long ball. They're trying to play the ball out, keep the possession. And I think that's a credit to the management team as well for providing a good quality of football as well. And at the end, a very well-deserved 3 points, and look forward to next week carrying on up the table against Lebec.
Well, that's right, yeah. And we had 144, so 144 in attendance, plus our YouTube viewers. It all adds up that the club is growing, really, in supporters, which is really nice. So thanks for that summary, Dave. Appreciate that very much indeed. As you say, you'll be back in a little while because you are going to be our guest of the week. So don't go away, Dave.
I won't.
Well, we can't let this week go by without saying congratulations to Calum Hotine, not just for keeping a clean sheet at the weekend, but also for the fact he is the goalkeeper who is raising funds for Epilepsy UK under the scheme run by Chris Dunville. Sponsors pay for goals and clean sheets, and Calum is the representative of Warminster Town Football Club, and by the keeping a clean sheet against Almondsbury FC has raised £35. So that's no small feat. So if we can have a few more performances like that, Calum, of course it depends on the 10 guys in front of you as well, and we will all be very delighted, as will Mr. Crabtree himself. So keep up the good work. Let's raise funds for Epilepsy Research UK. It's now time to find out what's happening at Warminster Town Ladies FC. Well, once again, we're pleased to have Tim Fry on our podcast. Tim, the manager of the Warminster Town Ladies team. Tim, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very good, Roland. Thanks for having us on again.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So I think you'd like to run out, first of all, with a few updates for us and a few thank yous for a few people. Let's start off with that, Tim, please.
Yeah, no problem. Firstly, I'd just like to give everyone a little bit of an update on Carla. If you remember, she's a lady we had playing, took quite a bad knee injury a couple of weeks back. Up at the ground yesterday, watching the ladies play, although she's still on crutches, it does seem that she's making some good progress. She's doing well, and it was good to see her up there yesterday. So she's doing okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and in terms of the thank yous, it's a couple really. Obviously, in terms of the social media, we want to keep raising the profile of the Warminster ladies. So really, with Rhiannon Gallagher, who's done a lot of work in terms of posting the fixtures for us on Facebook and a few other streams. Thank you, Rhiannon. Ella Johnson has been helpful in terms of getting in contact with other clubs for friendlies. So I think we've got one lined up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks against Salisbury again. So here's Ella. And also Lewis. Lewis is obviously coaching alongside myself. Done a lot of good work in terms of giving the players additional fitness work, but he's also picked up one stream of the social media in terms of the Twitter account. And there's some good posts going on there, some good updates for matches. So it's all good stuff. So thanks, everyone.
That's good. Yeah, it's nice to thank the volunteers. The club at the end of the day just needs all these people. So it's great they step up and get involved.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it's brilliant. So thank you to everybody. So Tim, what else would you like to talk about regarding footballing wise at the Salisbury Ladies? Sorry.
Well, I guess
I should say Salisbury Ladies, Warminster Ladies. I was thinking of something else.
Yeah. Well, I suppose really it's just a quick update in terms of the league fixtures we played since the last time I came on. Probably 2-3 weekends ago, we played Chippenham Town. We knew they were going to be a strong side. They played the ball quite nicely at the back, but they're quite direct, like to get the ball up and quick up to us. So really a bit of an update on that one. Then we've got the update on the game from yesterday. So if I carry on with the Chippenham match, slow start from us. The best we've played so far really is, I mentioned before, is the Frome game. With 3 games in the league, still quite slow starting. We let Chippenham settle quite early into the game. But unbelievably, we sort of found ourselves 2-0 up at half time. Totally against the run of play. We haven't really played well. But like I said, we went 2-0 up. Second half started. We managed to find ourselves 3 up. We started playing a little bit better. And then we sort of gave them a bit of hope in the game and let them get them a goal back. And then it started to swing the other way. We gave away a bit of a sloppy penalty, made it 3-2. And then we're on the back foot, they're on the front foot. They're pumping high, long balls up into the final third. And if I'm brutally honest, we weren't really dealing with them well. And it wasn't long before the equaliser came along. I think at that point, everyone would have quite happily taken a 3-3 draw. And then really right at the death, I think you came along to the game, Roland. Our keeper made a fingertip save right at the death. Just got underneath the ball and tipped it over the bar. And kept us in it at 3 each and salvaged the point for us.
Yes, it was vital, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, right at the death. I mean, we expect them to be a tough side, and I think they'll be our main opposition for the season. That was a good test for us, maybe a little bit of a wake-up call. But I think in reflection on the overall game, I think probably a draw is probably fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good contest. I think the feedback I had from people watching the game that they enjoyed the game again, which is always good. So yeah,
maybe keep people coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe that was a little nudge. Maybe we were just a little bit complacent going into the start. So maybe that was just a little nudge we needed just to get the season going for us.
Yeah, good. And what about Salisbury? That was yesterday as we speak today.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're expecting a strong team from Salisbury. Not because I've seen them play, just what I've heard from around the league. And to be honest, it was no surprise. It was tight for the first 30 minutes. Not really many chances from either side. Both keepers playing well. I think our shots were pretty much point blank at the keeper, but she was still saving them. And my keeper was quick off the line, was clearing. So very tight for the first 30 minutes. And then about 35 minutes into the first half, first bit of good football, really. Nice 1-2 on the edge of the box between Lauren Gowan and Megan Fear. And then Megan took it into the box and then slotted it away to make it 1-0 for us. So, and that's how it stayed until half-time. Second half started, and a little bit more urgency. We said to the ladies we need to play with a little bit more pace. And that's the way we started, a little bit more urgency. We started creating a few more chances. And then about 20 minutes in, we made the breakthrough. A flick on from Beth. Apologies if I've got, Beth, your surname wrong, but Domkowski on her league debut for the team. So she flicked the ball on through to Mia Blasey, who made it 2-0 to the Town. And just to note, that's Mia's 8th for the season. So 8 in 4 is not too bad.
It's very good.
And then really we sort of got a bit more confident. Started playing with a bit more freedom, if you like. And then the third came quickly. Again, pressure down the right, across from Beth. That was a good debut for Beth. So, she put across the box. Salisbury defenders facing the wrong way and turned it into her own net to make it 3-0 to the Town. So it was a good spell, 5-10 minutes for us, where we got a couple of goals. We switched off for a moment, allowed Salisbury to get one back, but then 5 minutes later, a great run from Mia down the right-hand side, a great switch from right to left over the top to Rebecca Snelling, and she rounded the keeper to make it 4-1. And overall, I think from there onwards, the game was dead towards Salisbury. We created more chances. Keepers had a blinder for them. And to be fair, we could have sort of maybe extended the scoreline, but it ended up being a really strong performance from Warminster. So a good, strong, comfortable win in the end.
Well, it's a great start to the season, isn't it, when you look at the results that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, we've played 4 now, so that's three wins and 1 draw. Again, it's still early days. We're second in the league. I think there's 3 of us that are running unbeaten at the moment. I think it's Chippenham top, we're second, and Highworth third. But like I said, it's only 3 or 4 games in, so it's still early days.
Well, it's good stuff, and it's better to have a great start than try and have a bad start and catch up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was good progress. In terms of reflection on the games, we had someone else having a debut for us yesterday. Gemma Summers had a debut in goal for us yesterday, got man of the match. Even though we won 4-1, she had a blinder in goal for us. In terms of the performance against Chippenham and yesterday, Salisbury tried to go long ball, but we just dealt with it better. We were winning the first balls and then dropping down, picking up the seconds. So that was better for us. And then even with the urgency and pace in the second half was better. So the performances are getting better. And we are going to have some good tests coming up. We've got Melksham. We're going to have Chippenham again fairly soon. So, hopefully we pick up a good bit of form.
Oh, that's good. So what's the next few games coming up then, Tim? What's the next plan?
Next game for us is Calne again at home. We seem to have a nice little run at home at the moment. So we've got Calne at Weymouth Street on the 18th of October. As always, 2 p.m. kickoff. So, everyone come up, support the ladies.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. And still free entry at the moment?
It is, at the moment.
That's the best bargain of the year, isn't it? Come and watch lots of goals for nothing. It's brilliant. Yeah,
like I said, we've seen plenty of goals. I mean, I've just made a little stay in with 2 of my strikers. We've got Mia on 8, and she's had a 4 in a game and a couple in a game. So she's on 8. Then we've got Megan Fear. She's on 6 in 3. I think so. The 2 of them. So, like I said to you before, I think you'll always see goals with us. I think from a coaching or managing point of view, I don't think we've had a clean sheet yet. So hopefully we get one of them fairly soon.
Getting closer, down to 1 goal against us.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe this weekend.
It could well be. So come along to Warminster and watch loads of goals going into the opposition's nets.
Definitely.
That's going to be the target for this Sunday. Yeah, brilliant. Well, all the listeners, please do come along to Weymouth Street, Warminster for a Sunday afternoon. Bring the kids, great atmosphere. And I believe the bar will be open again, will it, for people on a drink?
Yeah, I believe so. Unless Boris puts a dampener on it, I think it's...
Yeah. We're all right here at the minute. I think we're not in one of the tiers. So
I think down south we're okay.
We're
so
all
at
right
the moment, yeah, the bar's open.
And
so yeah,
bring your masks with you, because if you're going into the bar, we are,
Yeah.
trying to keep it COVID safe. So bring the mask. Not necessarily outside at the ground, but you might want to wear one. That's people's choice, and everybody respect that if they do. So we're trying to keep it as safe as we can for everybody that comes along to both the ladies and the men's
Yeah,
game.
definitely.
Good, Tim. Well, thanks for that. Anything else you'd like to chat to us about while we've got you on the podcast?
No, that's it. That's it for the moment, Roland. I've given you some stats. You know when our next game is, so hopefully we get a few more people along to watch.
Brilliant. And the Melksham one should be a cracker when that's an away match, isn't it, at Melksham?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the next couple. I know we've got Bath coming up soon. Yeah. And then I think it might be Melksham.
Melksham after that. Well, we'll let people know. We'll keep them.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Rihanna's doing a good job in posting the fixtures. So if people keep an eye out, they'll be on there. Or I'll be on Tweet or one of the other social streams.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Tim, once again, thanks very much. I know you've had a busy day and you had a job to get away from work, and thanks for that. So we appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again in the very near future, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you very much, Roland. Okay. All the best.
Coming up next, it's our guest of the week. Well, it's good to have Dave back, Dave Parry. We are talking now about a little bit about his background. Dave's new at Warminster, so he's going to tell us a little bit about his background and how he's getting on at Warminster Town and what he's doing at Warminster Town. So, Dave, good to have you back here. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and your football history, as it were?
Where do you want to start, Roland? Thanks for that. Well, let's explain why I'm here first. My job moved me down here a year ago to Wiltshire from Kent, which is I'm born and bred in Kent. So I've spent a year down here, and I started hankering for a bit of local football. I tried Westbury, but we're not allowed to mention them, are we? No. I watched a couple of games there, quite enjoyed it, but I'll explain why I got involved in Warminster a little bit later on. But let's take myself back. Football pedigree goes back a long way. My father was a professional footballer. He started his football career at Tottenham Hotspur. Hence, if you see me at the ground, my Tottenham Hotspur mask. That's not to wind up Manchester United fans, I promise. But my dad was in the junior ground staff there and played the odd game for the reserves. But in 1955, he joined Gillingham Football Club in Kent. Gillingham with a soft G, not Gillingham with a hard G in Dorset. And he played 200 games for them there, and I was born while he was playing for Gillingham. Born in, won't say the age, but my dad was playing at the time with someone called Ron Saunders, who was a forward at the time with Gillingham, and he ended up managing Aston Villa to the league title in the early 80s. And Ron Saunders was my godfather, because he sadly passed away last year. My dad passed away 11 years ago, but so my Gillingham connections were there. I don't really remember Gillingham, but I do remember when he was non-league with Margate when I was a kid, little, and waiting for him to come out of the dressing room at the end of the game and all that sort of thing. But they weren't a bad side. They won the Southern League in the days when the Southern League was a lot bigger than it is now, not so far down the pyramid. And then I started watching Gillingham as a teenager, and then spent 40 years plus watching them, over 1,000 games, home and away, hence the grey hair. But they've had a few successes over the years, and in the late 80s, I ended up helping behind the scenes. First of all, as an assistant on the matchday tannoy system, and as time went on, getting involved in matchday control, CCTV, and the occasional matchday announcements, standing in for, no one would know him down here unless they've seen Rovers or City play up there. But Doug Hudson, who was the matchday announcer there, been there since 1989, and he is truly a legend. But I stand in for him occasionally, and one famous occasion I stood in for him when we won our first title in 49 years. And I was in front of 11,500 people at Priestfield Stadium, and praying that we got the point we needed to get the title, which we did against Wimbledon. And I had to announce the entire squad and team and the presentation of the trophy in front of the president of the Football League, and knowing that I was going on to local radio. And that was an interesting afternoon, but thoroughly enjoyable. So that's my Gillingham connections. I stayed there till to 2017. Did 29 years there. All sorts of things. Ended up being sort of semi-management, writing out match day procedures for fire alarms. It's a lot more complicated, I tell you, at Gillingham, a ground of 11,000 compared to Warminster. But there's also the love of football's there. I used to run my brother's football team as a kid. When he was a kid, I was a bit older than him, and spent a lot of time doing that, refereeing at local level as well, even with the glasses before anyone says anything. But then my daughter came along, so less time spent doing footballing things. And then she got interested in football. So I used to go to Gillingham matches with her as well. What worries me, she knew more about the tactics than I did, which was...
it's a trouble, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But no, she when she went to university, she took out... that was the year we got promoted, champions. So she had a Gillingham kit for that season to wear in her first week at university. So that was rather funny. But... so football's in the family. Unfortunately, I know what to do in my head, but the message doesn't get down to my feet. It never has done. But I've loved the game. I used to referee so many games at weekends. Two games on a Sunday, one on a Saturday. When I was running the football league, with running my brother's team, it'll be 8 a.m. out of the house and not finishing doing stuff till virtually midnight that night. Because in those days, it wasn't computers; it was phones. And handwriting reports for the local newspapers in Medway Town. So lots of football in there. And let's take me to why I'm at Warminster.
Yes, please. That'd be good.
Long and that was only half the story really there, but I don't want to bore anyone to death over it. I go to the gym that Martin runs owns, of course, in Westbury, Club 24 Fitness. And Martin and I got talking about football. There's a surprise. And he asked me what my job is. I'm a project manager in the civil service. And so he said, you could see the wheels turning in his head already. And then he said, you could help us out. I said, oh, yeah, all right, okay, I'll give it some thought. Next time I went in, giving it some thought. Yeah, okay. And then I went along to watch the Westbury Warminster game. Stood by Crabby's dugout and realised this was good fun. I was actually enjoying it. I didn't say anything at the time, and then off it went. I got introduced to Sean and then to Pete Russell, and then it sort of sucked me in. And I'm sort of giving Sean some assistance at the moment as assistant secretary, writing out such thrilling things as risk assessments, things that unfortunately in the current climate are needed to keep a club going and keep everybody safe. And helping with other things as well. And I'm, more than willing to help on any level on the admin side. That's my job. And I don't mind doing it because at the end of the day, people do those things. And that means other people can put more time into looking after the players, because that's important. Without the players being looked after, the club doesn't do so well.
So you're enjoying that?
Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying it. The only thing I'm having difficulty is Warminster playing red. And I've supported a team that's worn blue and white all my life, Gillingham. And, of course, Tottenham, my other side, wear navy blue and white. So I'm struggling with the red, but I think I'll just about cope with that. Yeah. But I'm enjoying it. And what I'm enjoying is the fact that you can see, like at Wincanton, I went there a few weeks ago, there's people like us at Warminster, at Wincanton, doing the best for their local team, looking after their local club. And at the moment, looking after people coming into the ground. One thing I think I want to say now is all the hard work done in the clubhouse at Warminster to comply with the regulations. The people working in there, absolute stars, and I hope it's appreciated by everyone who uses that clubhouse. They may not notice it, but they put so much work into that, and I think we should all offer a vote of thanks to them for what they've done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially at the lower leagues, it's the volunteers. Without the volunteers, there would be no club.
No.
There'd be no football, It's a lot of work goes on a Saturday. True, a lot of work goes on a Saturday. There's an awful lot of work goes on behind the scenes as well on other days of the week. People are putting in time, whether it's cutting the grass, painting the fences, putting the fences up. There's all kinds of things have to go on, aren't there? And you say, and of course, in the modern world, the amount of paperwork and compliance as well that has to take place.
Yeah. Sean's introduced me to the whole game system and the amount of things you have to deal with. We're trying to deal with something at the moment. It's absolute nightmare, but it will sort it out. And unfortunately, being a civil servant, I have to deal with paperwork that's totally unnecessary on a regular basis. I shouldn't say that really, but it's plenty of work. And if you've got a full-time job as well, that's not realised. But at the end of the day, we look after. We're there because we enjoy it, and we want to see our team. And I don't come from this area, but it's lovely to watch the close thing between the players and the feeling they want to play with each other. They want to play for each other, and it's a credit to them and to the management team. And you can see the respect that the people around the ground have for those players as well. And it's a lovely feeling, particularly after years of seeing, how can I say, professionals at the higher level not necessarily covering themselves with glory. There's plenty of honourable exceptions. Marcus Rashford comes to one for a start, and Harry Kane buying the kit for Orient this summer. Sponsoring their kit and buying all their kit. Outstanding. Tiny things like that. But there's too many cheats, I think, in professional football. And we've also got to remember the referees and the linesmen. Although we love to have a go at them, at the end of the day, they're part of the whole package. And the people running the league and the people running the Wiltshire FA, there's so many good people in this sport, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, it's all about the people, and people doing it of their own free will, not getting paid for it. In fact, it costs you money at the end of the day, doesn't it? To do it. So
absolutely.
Shout out for all the volunteers.
I don't begrudge that. I don't begrudge that because I've done that myself. My goodness gracious me. When I was refereeing in Kent, I used to go 20 miles for a game and not get a penny. I must admit, once there was one game I did under 18s when I could have probably sent 20 off, and I thought 40-mile round trip, no money. I just rang up and said, that's enough. I'd had enough. And this was a long time ago. My daughter was due pretty soon anyway. I thought, no, there are more important things in life, like looking after I didn't know she was going to be a girl at that time. But yeah, that's the thing, please, referee. And there's a couple of incidents of the weekend where some silly people are saying, and thankfully not in Wiltshire and in Somerset, but that's not the point. It's a game, goodness sake. Although I was pretty cross after Eric Dyer's handball decision against Newcastle. About half an hour later, I had calmed down. Because it is only a game, even though I think the people in Stockley Park are out there to ruin the game. I can't do anything about that. But it is a game still. And that's the other thing. When I see a bad tackle in lower league, these football, you're stopping someone potentially going out to work the next day. And hold fire. I thought the sending off in the Radstock game was totally justified. That was a dangerous challenge. And even though Calum thankfully wasn't hurt, that was not nice to see. And that's what got me so cross, the tackle on Lewis Graham last week. That went unpunished. And that's unforgivable in my opinion. At the end of the day, is looking after players. I can't remember who it was in the Westbury game. There was one of the Warminster players went down injured and he wasn't moving and the referee didn't stop it quickly enough. Stop the game.
That might have been Henry when he got injured, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop the game. At that point, I was neutral, but I was just thinking, there's someone who might need help. Quick action now. Might need to go to work on Monday.
Whatever.
Yeah. Stop it. It's a game still.
Yes.
But don't get me wrong. I get passionate about the sport. My wife still can't understand why I shout at television. There's one story in the summer I really missed the football. Do you remember the Harry's game, Harry's Heroes thing, where the England veterans were playing the West German veterans?
Yes, I didn't get to see it, but I kept seeing clips. Yeah.
But when I saw Lee Hendry score the goal in the last game, and I punched the air and shouted, and Sarah Pope looked up to one from watching. She was reading it. Sarah Pope, you are missing your football, aren't you, David? I went, yeah, I'm missing the football badly. Yeah. But that's the enjoyment I get out of the game. Always have done. I'd watch anything sometimes. I don't care. I even flick around and watch a Scottish game if I'm really desperate.
Yeah.
Or a Welsh game. Of course, that's my dad's from North Wales, so I even watch some games on S4C.
Yeah. And
try and understand what the hell they're talking about in Welsh. But it's all good fun. I even watched a bit of the England-Wales game on Thursday night in Welsh, just for a bit of a laugh.
Just for a laugh. Oh, good. Well, it's still football at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. Still the same result, 3-0.
Still the same
It
result.
was strange seeing England up as Haraga or something rather than England. But
Yeah,
we went over to the other channel in the end and watched it in English.
Brilliant. Well, appreciate you coming on, Dave, but certainly appreciate you being involved in Warminster Football Club. It's great to have you on board.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward, obviously, hopefully, we're in this silly COVID situation at the moment. It's a horrible situation to be in. We're hoping we can keep things going and the fans keep their 2 meters or 1 meters outside rule and wear masks. And everybody seems to be doing fairly well at the moment. So we'd like to encourage everyone to continue doing that. But a big thank you to you and to all our volunteers at Warminster Town Football Club. I think that's very important. As we say, we give them all a shout out and keep up the good work. You are appreciated. And of course, if you are a volunteer listening to this and you'd like to tell us your story, please come up and see me, get in touch, and we can have a little chat and we can relay your story on the podcast or on the website. It's not a problem, whichever you prefer. And let's encourage more to get involved. So Dave, once again, thank you very much.
I just want to say one thing. If anyone wants to do that, Ronan looks after you very well. It's not too painful. It's well worth it. It's worth a chat. And I enjoyed having a chat with you, Ronan. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So now it's that time. We're going to take a look at the league tables. And Jamie, who was made a little bit redundant earlier on because our match review was done by Dave Parry. So sorry about that, Jamie, but you know.
I've been usurped.
Usurped. We can replace you. So be warned. No, not seriously though. Seriously, we're not going to let that happen. However,
thank goodness for that.
However, you are here right now, so we can talk about the league table. So after the weekend's results, how's it all looking?
There's not been a lot of change at the top, really. I think Ashton and Backwell were top, I think, last weekend as well. So then they're still top at the moment. They're top with 18 points, having played 7 games. Calum Town are second, having played 5, and they've won all 5 of theirs. So they're certainly one to keep an eye on. Welton Rovers, they're having a good season again this season. They're in 3rd, having played 6. Lebec, who we are playing next weekend, are 4th, having played the second most amount of games in the league, actually, or joint second most with Bishop's Lydia. They've both played 8 games. Only Wincanton have played more. They've played 9. And Portishead are round out the top 5. And obviously, Warminster Town, despite our win at the weekend, are still in 6th, only on games played at the moment. If we go level on games and win, I think, against Lebec, we would be above Portishead. And then at the bottom, Devizes Town has rather continued their torrid start to the season. They're currently rock bottom after a 5-1 defeat to Bishop's Lydiard, picking up their very first win of the season. Bishop's Lydiard have finally got 3 points on the board, which is good for them. That's lifted them off the bottom. Above Longwell Green and Hengrove, who are also in 19th and 18th. It actually lifts Bishop's Lydiard up to 17th. And Oldland Abertonians round out the bottom 5.
Yeah, so the table's beginning to shape up a little bit. There's still quite a few differences between some of the matches that teams have played currently. So that's does throw a bit of a wobbly on where it'll all finish up when it levels out. But we can start to see a bit of a pattern developing, particularly with the win rate of some of the clubs, which is interesting. And certainly Devizes got bashed by the Bishops. I mean, that was...
Well, yeah, that's quite a turn up for the books, yeah. Another team that's had a fairly poor start to the pretty poor start to the season, and and then they go and hammer Devizes. That's quite a shocker. I
have been assured though by Ian Knockholes, the host of the Tool Station Western League podcast, who lives in Devizes and goes to Devizes. This is all a cunning plan to lure us into a false sense of security.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
We might ask him that in February.
Yes.
You'll see. Yeah. Ian does listen to the podcast, so thanks, Ian. Right. So as you mentioned, we've got Lebec coming up next. So that would be a great game if we can get 3 points against Lebec, won't it, to change the look of the table a bit?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Lebec have, again, like I said, they played the joint second most amount of games. So they're up there mainly on games played, although they had a good start to the season. But their current stats is they've won 4, drawn 2 and lost 2. So, if we can beat them, that'll be a good 3 points on the back, because they drew, I believe, this weekend against Portishead, 1-1 down at Portishead. So, I don't know, it could be a good one. But hopefully we'll get 3 points. We can definitely beat them. So,
That's it, on the days, and put in a good performance. We encourage everyone that can to come along to Weymouth Street and support the Red and Blacks. And of course, if you can't make it, you live too far away. We know we have many listeners on the podcast that do live a long way away. We will be live on YouTube, so please do tune in to our YouTube channel. And it's good to see the subscriber number is now past 400, so that's good. Thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't done so yet, please do so, as you can to this podcast as well. Right, Jamie, so anything else? Are you going to be taking photographs again for us this week?
Naturally.
Oh, well done. Excellent. And also the ladies have got a game on Sunday. So that's been mentioned. We've already interviewed the ladies team manager earlier. So don't forget that one, folks. Come along and support the ladies as well, wherever you can, because it's all good stuff for Warminster Town Football Club per se, whether it's the men's first team, the reserves, or the ladies team. They all do appreciate your support very much. So thanks, Jamie, for taking part once again in the podcast. We might give you a little bit larger role next week. How's that sound?
It sounds lovely.
Excellent. See you soon. Well, there goes the final whistle, and that brings this week's podcast to an end. We've hoped you enjoyed the Warminster Town Football Club supporter podcast. So before you go, if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe using your favourite platform. Thanks for listening.